All right, welcome to the Shakedown. As you can tell by the sound of my voice, I am not the effeminate Ryan Forbes. Or Rain, aka Rainforest. I'm the
Do you want to take that one again?
more popular host, Aaron Malone, and I am in the studio finally. He just stole my flow there. He knew what he was doing. He's going to be jumping in like that all the time, trying to make me look bad. It's all right, it's all good.
Part of my scheme.
Yeah, and if you did not hear the song "Prison Walls" by G.G. Allen leading in this show today, it's because of the aforementioned effeminates.
Hi everyone. Before Malone goes any further, I just want to make a quick mention that Malone is about to make some pretty racy jokes, and I am definitely not going to condone them. They do involve rape and sexual violence, so if those are triggering for you, just a real heads up. And second, I would like to mention that none of this happens. So I just want to be clear and make no confusion about it. None of the things that Malone talks about involving sex or sexual violence throughout this episode happened. Malone is just kind of making a joke at my expense. So to be clear, this didn't happen. He's just kind of happy to be in town and hanging with his buddy. So here we go.
And nothing else. So, with that being said, I'm Aaron Malone. I'm your host tonight. And I spent 30 years in prison saving weenies like Ryan Forbes from being raped. And as his payback to me, he puts me on his show from time to time and tries to make me look bad to ensure that I will never again have a girlfriend or sex or anything. So that's my reward for saving him. I didn't do that, by the way. That was him. Anyways, Ryan Forbes was just a small blip on the screen in my life until he came to me crying one day in prison after an encounter with a much bigger inmate, and it didn't go very well for him, and he needed something done. So I went and talked to the guy and got it all cleared up, and after that, Ryan had to walk around prison holding on to my belt loops. But this kept all the other bigger guys off of him, and eventually we both got out, thank God. And now we're here to tell the tale. We're here to talk about it in studio. So, Ryan.
Yes, Malone.
Yeah. Many victims of sexual assault become bitter. There's a lot of after effects. There's years of therapy and so forth. The public wants to know how you dealt with it. How did you overcome the pain and trauma that is associated with the kind of victimization that you had to undergo on a regular basis in prison?
Well,
and another thing I'd like to add is that this went on for a lot longer than just the one time that Ryan came to me. This was years worth of abuse that he had undergone, and he never said anything to me about all that. It wasn't until this. So I want to know what it was that finally broke, that caused you to finally want to have something done about it, want to stop that cycle of abuse.
Well, I'd first like to mention that if you haven't been listening to the Shakedown for a while, we've been looking for sponsors for a long time. And it's talk like this that is sure to get the sponsors
a sponsorship
totally
from
interested.
Either Trojan Condoms or some kind of adult diaper company. One of the two. Yeah.
Gosh.
Ryan regularly uses both of your products.
I mean, we'll take it.
Yes, he will. Oh, God. Will he ever? Understatement of the millennium.
And yeah, Vince, if you haven't realized yet, this needs to be scheduled for 10:30 at night. Cannot be scheduled during the daytime. Yeah. This is an after hours episode of the Shakedown for sure. This time around, as Malone has made clear. Yes.
So, as your personal hero, Ryan,
Yes.
back on subject.
Back on subject.
You know, I personally feel like my job is not done until you've completely overcome all the demons that are inside your soul that have, all the trauma and everything else. So once again, how have you dealt with that, and how do you continue to deal with that?
You know, there are a lot of demons. That is the first thing. And the thing that keeps me going is that I can always look to you, Malone, as a constant source of inspiration. Whenever I'm in that dark place, I can go, you know what? I've still got Malone. And that is what keeps me going.
Yeah, I thought that's what you'd say. All right. Well, I mean, certainly it's got to be, more than that. I mean, it can't just be, your inspiration, your muse, your heroes in life that get you through it. It's got to be, there has to be like a clear defining moment whenever you just decided that you were no longer going to be a woman. You're no longer going to be the bottom in a non-consensual relationship any longer. You are going to do something about this. You're going to end this. You're only going to do this if you want to do it.
Yes. Yeah. I think that was decided the moment I decided I was going to leave Texas in that non-consensual relationship anymore.
So Texas was technically your victimized. You're
right.
The aggressor in this situation.
The aggressor, yes.
So you were actually willing to come out and name the person who was raping.
Name names. I have to be strong in this situation.
I tell you what, you're an inspiration.
Well, thank you.
Yes. So, if y'all haven't noticed yet, we're having a lot of fun here tonight, and we don't really have anything important to talk about, only because we're just in such a darn good mood. I'm in here in studio with my good friend Ryan Forbes, who I don't get to spend a whole lot of time with, and I never get to do these podcasts in person with him. And so we were sitting here and we were trying to think of something that some kind of important subject to talk about. What was it going to be tonight, this special night that we were going to address? And we couldn't come up with anything, only because we just don't feel like we're in the mood for any kind of politics or a soapbox standing or anything like that. We don't feel preachy tonight. We just feel like having fun and letting everybody know how much we love and appreciate them, our families, our moms, and our friends. So that's what you're going to get out of us in this episode of The Shakedown.
That is absolutely true. Yes. We're both. It is great to see Malone out here. It's been great to finally show him around Longmont, show him this area that I've been telling him so much about now for years now. And it's been great. And we got a whole bunch of other great stuff planned for the little bit of time remaining that he's out here too.
Yeah, Longmont's been a lot of fun. The people here have been more than just welcoming, more than just hospitable. They've been downright inviting. I mean, they've been family-like, and that's just in the less than 24 hours that I've been here. They've made me feel not just welcome to be here for the short period of time as a guest, but I feel like I'm invited to be a part of their home permanently, type of thing. A whole next level of hospitality. So big shout out to Longmont, Colorado, and all the people that are here. Y'all are wonderful, and I've enjoyed my stay here, and I've enjoyed your just polite, friendly, downright welcoming nature.
That's true. And that's what brought me here to Longmont. I was not planning.
You were sucked in, weren't you?
Yes, I was sucked in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. As we discussed before the show, which helped get us off topic in the first place, was that Longmont sucked me in.
Mm. Yeah. That's why this show has to be a after-hour show. That's how friendly Longmont is.
Well, tomorrow we won't be in friendly Longmont. We will actually be in Colorado Springs talking about the criminal.
The heart of darkness.
Yes. For Colorado, it is the car of darkness.
What? It's the car of darkness? What did you say?
For Colorado, it is the heart of darkness.
Okay. Yeah, get that out correctly.
It's a lot of words.
You speak professionally, or at least you speak. You have your own podcast. You need to be articulate enough to be able to say "into the heart of darkness."
That is true, for sure.
Okay, get that straight. Well, I'm not coming back on this show.
Our fans would be very miffed if that was the case.
It'll be your fault. Don't blame me, people. I would love to be on this show if I only had a competent host to guide me through it. I mean, to run the thing.
I'm doing the best I can.
Into the car of darkness. Yeah, that's the best you can.
Into the car of darkness. There was a lot of different words going on there.
There's a lot of different words there. Okay. You're right. God, how did I miss that?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, Ryan, you were on your.
I was. So anyway, we will be speaking professionally at the University of Colorado.
Not professionally. We're not getting paid.
Well, they are reimbursing us for travel, which is something.
That's not the same.
Fine.
It's nice.
Not the same.
It's nice. And don't get us wrong. We would have done it even if you, even without that. We're that desperate.
It's not desperate. We're happy to be out there doing it, and it is. I feel like it is it's a big thing that they'll actually sit there and listen to us, and we can actually talk about ways to improve the criminal justice system. Talk about our experience, and actually try to help people who actually want to help and want to listen. So I think that is amazing.
Nobody is free until we all are free. And, I feel like anything that we say on this podcast becomes redundant over and over. I mean, we dice up and mince words and pick out all the little particulars and everything. But everything that we say comes down to that idea that the world itself has to have a mindset change. We have to view everyone, even if they commit a crime, we have to view them as our neighbor and as our fellow citizen. If it's always amazed me whenever I was in prison. Ryan Rainforest can confirm this. Rainforest, whenever you were on Ramsey 1, how many prison units have you been to before you went to Ramsey 1?
Before I went to Ramsey 1, I was on like 8 units.
What units were you on?
I was on Gorey. I was on Gurney. I was on Dalhart. I was on Bill Clemens. I was on... there's another one. There's like
that's enough.
Okay, that's, yeah.
You... Of all these prison units that you were on, did you notice any difference between the Ramsey 1 unit and those other units? I mean, if you had to like spell out what the biggest difference between those units would be, what are they?
Oh, I mean, they all have their own unique.
No, I don't want the big differences. I'm trying to find the major difference in between the Ramsey 1 unit and those other units.
The Ramsey 1 unit, the biggest thing was it was for older and infirmed inmates. That was the biggest difference between that and the other ones. Plus, they had the furniture factory, which was pretty.
Other
awesome.
units have factories and industry and so forth. So that's not really a big difference. It's a different industry, but industry is industry.
Right.
What I'm trying to really get at is that Ramsey 1 unit has a safekeeping side of it. They have a whole entire apparatus. This is the unit that they more often send former prison guards, policemen, or if you're the grandson of a judge or something, they send you this unit. And this unit, up until very recent times, was radically different than any other unit you'd come across in TDC. On the Bill Clements unit, did you have a key to your own cell?
No.
No, but they did have keys to their own cells on the Ramsey 1 unit. Did you have a TV in your cell?
Oh, yeah, we did.
On the Bill Clements unit?
Oh, heck no.
No, but on the Ramsey 1 unit, you have TVs in your cell. In other words, this was a showcase unit that they would, and people that they wanted to take care of got treated much differently on this unit than they did in any other unit. And so my point being is that there was the mindset that of the people that were in power. They understood what Texas prisons were like. Judges did. Prison guards definitely do, and so do police officers. They know what goes on in prison. So they created a prison unit that was different than all the other units so that they wouldn't have to undergo all the violent sexual assaults that Ryan had to go through on the other units, or the sort of abuse or just the downright horrible conditions that were endured on most of the units. Other units, they weren't treated nearly as good as they are on that unit. Why? Because, whenever it's your kid or if it's somebody that you know that gets in trouble with the law, all of a sudden there's a completely different mindset. There's this person can be changed, or there's some kind of reason why this person did what they did. They've been through this. Something happened to them here. There's a sympathy factor because you relate to them, because you know them. But if it's not someone that you know, it's really easy just to kind of blow all that off and say that they're a worthless individual and they can be thrown away and treated however in the world you want to treat them. It doesn't matter. One of the things that we'll be talking about tomorrow, or one of the things that we'll be mentioning tomorrow, that is an example of this mindset, is that in the somewhere around like the mid 2010s, you had a rash of guards that had killed inmates, and there was violent assaults that were up across the board, like from guards to inmates, and the guards in every instance were exonerated. There was one case where a guard picked up a man who was obviously mentally ill and who was in handcuffs, picks this guy up by his waist and slams him on the ground so hard that it ruptures this man's liver. I want you to think about that. Think about how hard you have to be slammed to the ground to have your internal organs burst. I mean, if that's not above and beyond, if that's not excessive, I mean, what gauge do you gauge excessiveness by? I mean, how do you gauge excessive use of force? If not, it ruptured an internal organ whenever you did it. What? I mean, I shot the guy and it blew a hole the size of a golf ball through him, completely through his body. I mean, that's what's excessive. I mean, because other than that, I mean, I'm not really getting how you can gauge anything else. This guy who had been assaulted by the same guard before, had a history of, and was obviously scared on camera and didn't want this guy, had to have other rank and so forth come out there just to even agree to get himself put in handcuffs whenever this guard walked up because he was so afraid of him. And then later on camera, this same guard picks this guy up from behind and slams him to the concrete ground in handcuffs so hard that it ruptures his liver. And the guy is exonerated. It's on camera. Because the mindset of people in Texas is that, well, you know, we're on the side of the guards. The guards are on our side. They're the good guys. They're one of us. This other guy was a criminal, and technically whatever happens to him, well, he put himself in that position, which is altogether untrue. You can't go about abusing or assaulting or hurting other people and say that, well, it's his fault because he put himself in the position for me to assault him. But that's exactly what happens in Texas prisons on a regular basis. I mean, that's what happens with the excessive sentencing. That's what happens with the whole entire parole board system. It's a mindset of there's an us and there's a them. Whenever in reality, it's not an us and them, it's an us. They are a part of us. We are all together. We're all in the same boat. Until we all are free, none of us are free. And I'm not trying to advocate any kind of violent outbreak, or I'm not trying to say that riots need to be fought or anything else, because that's just a perpetuation of the exact same idea. That's what's going on, is this idea that some kind of violence needs to be meted out to one person in response to some kind of violence or some kind of offense that's been committed by the other person. That's not where we all need to be. We need to see every single offense as something that needs to be rectified, and that the person needs to be reintegrated, brought back into the fold, not perpetually punished for the rest of his life, and that because he committed this offense and never ever to be fully reintegrated into society, but he brought back. And that's what we're fighting for. That's what Ryan and I are standing here for. That's why we're in this studio.
The Shakedown was produced at Longmont Public Media. And our theme song, Shakedown, was brought to you by Envato Elements. If you want any Shakedown merchandise, or you want to support the show, you can go to waywordpress.com. That's WAYWORD press.com.